All right. So this is a little bit different. Welcome to Above the Table, because that's what we came up with as a decent name. Um, so we had this weird idea that we should probably like talk about things instead of just play. Well, Faye and Buttons did. I sure let's do it because I like the idea. So yeah, obviously we have Faye and we have Buttons. Um, and I'm Dangle. Let's. What are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about the new Unearthed Arcana.
Yeah,
Because let's
the
just
D and
go.
D one. Yeah, the D&D one that just dropped. Pretty sure if you're here, you probably know what that is. But when you two want to kind of explain what they're doing with that?
Take the floor buttons.
So, after Wizards of the Coast officially acquired D&D Beyond, they have made an effort to begin to integrate the virtual tabletop experience into the physical products that they have been traditionally putting out. And OneD&D is the first step in that direction. They are playtesting what is rumored to be essentially D&D 5.5e. And this is the second rollout of Unearthed Arcana, the first being some alternate rules. But this one digs a little bit more into a couple of the classes, changes that they're considering for those, and some changes to the spells related to them. Along with, I think they've also got some changes to feats in this one.
Yeah, they've added a ton of new feats, and I believe we get the lists of spells up to a certain level, although I don't remember what it is because I haven't really looked at this other than briefly skimming.
Yeah, I'm
it
in the
doesn't give
same
it
boat.
what level it is right there, but it does say that there's spell lists available for the Arcane, Divine, and Primal.
Yes. So first things first. That primal thing, a little bit weird, especially for somebody that went from like 3.5, skipped over 4, and went straight to 5e. Um, I never had primal in 3.5, nor other um, stuff that I played that was very similar to D&D. Um, I don't know if they actually had that in 4. They might know a little bit more because I know you played it a little bit, but
I played a little bit of 4, but it wasn't really a whole lot, and we didn't follow the rules hugely because we were just chilling in the garage and messing around.
okay. So if they did have 4, cool. If they didn't, cool. I mean, but that's a major change, is separating that into its own thing, which, for better or for worse, might turn out to be a good thing. I don't know. But more importantly, um, for this particular Unearthed Arcana, they kind of make class groups, being experts, mages, priests, and warriors. Some of those you can probably figure out what they are. Others probably not, because we had a little bit of discussion before we started doing this of like what each one could be, and we were wrong. So, um, my personal favorite to play, because um is warriors, and that's going to be your very straightforward barbarian fighter monk. Do damage, take damage. Yeah. Um, I also like experts as well. I know Buttons likes one particular class an expert a whole lot more than me.
A lot more than anyone.
Yeah,
Hey now.
they, to be fair, are one of the best dips to do. If you're gonna do like an actual weapon build.
I actually did the dip on Ori, I believe. I only got to level 2 for Ranger, but Ori was a rogue hunter or ranger dip.
Yep. Speaking of rogues and rangers, that's part of the expertise or experts. And then the last one, officially, unofficially, is Bard. However, they also do throw Artificer in there as well. I am having a whole lot of fun with an Artificer right now
I
in a separate game.
can't wait to see what they do with Artificer because I tried one and I really want to play an Alchemist. I just cannot. They suck so badly.
Yeah, you kind of have to, again, Alchemist, you got to Alchemist and.
Now, I did play on one of our games, Vilfane. She was a divine or divination wizard artificer dip, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Artificer can be a lot of fun, but they're not technically part of this, which kind of sucks. But again, they have reasoning for it. They're doing just player handbook, so we're getting our base classes. I know Faye likes this next one, being the mages, specifically
man.
wizards and warlocks.
Wizards are my favorite class ever. They're so much fun.
Yep. So you got your wizards, your warlocks, and your sorcerers. I like sorcerers, mainly because I'm an egotistical. Yeah. Anyway, we'll pass to glaze over that.
Did we forget the bard and the expert tree? Did we talk about that one?
I briefly touched on it.
Okay.
Which, for better or for worse, there's some things that we'll go over that were brought to our attention by our lovely Fire Genasi friend that I don't know if I fully agree with, but we'll talk about it. And then, last but not least, priests, being your clerics, your druids, and your paladins. Again, I like to just smack things with a stick, so I like paladins. That's just me. I know Buttons likes clerics every once in a while.
Paladins are quite fun. The original iteration of Esther was a just full-blown paladin, a watcher paladin.
Yep, I remember that one because we were playing
Candlekeep.
Candlekeep, yeah.
Yep.
Candlekeep. And you had that weird Cyclops horse.
Yes, I did.
Which was awesome.
We might have to bring
remember
that back. We might have to bring that back.
You've got a cricket. It's fine.
I do have a cricket for now.
But yeah, no, that's the basic rundown of class groups. I can support them. Druid's kind of weird, but Druid doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't really fit into anything, but it fits the best into priest for me.
Yeah, I mean you don't necessarily have to worship nature, but you do have to at least honor it, which that's kind of acting as the priest of nature. So I understand why they put it there.
Yeah. But
Paladin's
like I said,
a one that I think it's a little weird in there. But we can talk about it later, but I think I have a slight idea as to why they have them there, and it's actually from another YouTube video I watched.
okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a minute because I definitely want to hear your thought on that. My thought on that is warrior priest. They could technically be in both, but they're trying to balance everything out. So,
Oh, for sure. There's definitely a lot of balancing that has gone on in this.
another big thing that they want to try to do is the capstone abilities. Moving them from 20 to 18.
I was so excited to hear about that.
Me too. mainly because I want to play an epic level 5e game. But as base rules are right now, without using any third-party stuff, it's really hard to do. Some would say impossible.
So what do you think that because we get the epic stuff or the end tier stuff at 18, and then at 20 we get the epic boon, do you think we could do like soft levels and every 2 levels past that we get another boon? Is that what you're thinking?
That's a possibility. I would have to play with it, figure out exactly what these rules are, and if we do end up deciding to adopt these, I would definitely be able to play with them a little bit more. I think it opens more possibilities to be able to do that. I know I've got a book from a third party that allows for it. That's what I was going to use if we ever got to that point. However, if we can use this, it might be easier. So
Sounds like there are some one-shot testers in our future.
I will be so down to do that.
it's not like we ever do any one shots.
Oh no, never.
We haven't since the
Especially-
reboot of our stuff, actually.
It's been like 4 weeks. That'd be like a really bad track record if we had to.
So part of this new thing is that the rules from the previous one do stay moving forward unless they are changed, because they have changed a few things. Without scrolling through them, I know they at least changed the way the crits work, and I believe the misses on that as well. So 20 is not automatically a success. 1 is not automatically a fail, other than on attacks, which that's how it is now. Which a lot of people are happy that they brought that back.
Yeah, I for one play that way anyway. But specifically saying that is great.
Yeah, I never understood the 20 gets you automatically whatever you want to do, because there's plenty of times where you can make a roll, and if you somehow hit that like 25 to 35, then like you might get something towards it, but I can't say it's actually impossible.
Yeah, I had a buddy, which he definitely wasn't the one that originated the story, however he says he is, told us a story about a dwarf that fell off a cliff and was like, I'm going to make a fly check, when we had fly as a skill. Rolled a natural 20. DM was like, but I rolled a 20. I was like, yeah, you're right, I guess. And then dwarf started flying. It's impossible. I don't care who you are.
Well,
Stuff
with
like that.
impossible things like that, you just say no. You don't allow them a check.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff that's highly improbable. Okay, cool. Yeah, you can roll, but
Yeah, so like taking that example of the dwarf falling, if you did roll, you're not gonna fly, but like maybe you can catch yourself on the cliff if you roll like a 25 plus.
and that was pre-dex save and more reflex save, so that would have been a applicable thing. But anyway, we'll move on from that. They also put out a bunch of either changes to subclasses, if I'm not mistaken. Like a whole bunch of changes to subclasses.
Yeah, so every class that is appearing in the expert group right now gets a single subclass to it. Rogue is Thief, Bard is Lore Bard, and the Ranger is the Hunter, actually, which I'm really excited to see because that's my favorite subclass for them. Just a real quick blurb, though, what they have on the what's ahead in the D&D Next playtest. I'm really excited to see some of these. They're going to have a total of 48 subclasses between all of just the player's handbook classes. That doesn't include the Artificer, or anything else that's coming out. Because they also hinted that they might be doing new classes, although obviously it's not a confirmation.
And I would like to see that.
Oh. Having a psionic class again would be fantastic.
I also like my weird, like, half classes, like mixed classes, and like weird summoner classes. I like that stuff.
Oh, a summoner would be so cool.
But like a legit summoner, not like I summon everything, so there's a million things on the. No, I want one specific thing that I can power up, and I can support that thing, and that thing just wrecks face.
Yeah, having like a main summon and then you just boost it would be great. And another thing on here that really caught my eye is they are creating a new system to create a home base for the characters. I didn't hear anything else about that. This is the first time I'm seeing anything about it, so I am super excited to see that.
This is the first time hearing of it.
Yeah,
that'll be exciting.
I'm curious to see exactly what that entails, because that might come in handy for us.
I have looked at a lot of third-party stuff for keeps and other player base options because I run a play-by-post game. It's been a little very slow lately, but they have just gotten a airship and they're traveling in it, so we needed some rules for that, and it was really difficult to find anything for 5e that I liked. So having like an actual system for that will be fantastic, especially because they've already now released, what was it, Spelljammer? Spelljammer came out. I think they're going to be releasing Planescape. There's a rumor about that. So that'll be really cool because they hopefully will incorporate things for that.
And then there's other ones like Dragonlance that they're pretty sure they're doing.
Oh no, they have announced that there's like a book you can pre-order, I believe, with Dragonlance.
Yeah, which I like that personally. It's a fun, but anyway, we'll move on from anyway. So biggest thing, I'm just gonna start at the top of the class list, just because it's probably easier for me at the very least. I don't know about you guys, but so biggest change to the expert class group and like the bard is first you get expertise, which you already got expertise, but so does the ranger. Ranger gets expertise, which is huge. We'll get to that in a little bit though. They are condensing some of the weapon proficiencies down, whereas I believe bard currently gets the rapier and the longsword, right? Off of this iteration, it just says simple weapons, which, depending on what they do with the weapons, might be okay, might not. I feel like they should get rapier still, and I feel like that's going to be a martial weapon. Like I said, I like bards. Bards are fun because I can be a jerk, and it's in character. But that part I don't necessarily like about the whole changing things. However, if anything is indicative of what they're doing, is part of the starting equipment is short sword. They're only proficient with the simple weapons, so short swords are probably going to simple weapons. Long swords might also, which isn't the worst thing in the world. However, strength bard I don't really like personally, but that's just me. Some of the features, bardic inspiration kind of stays the same. which good because that's their whole thing. Spellcasting. I said something about that a little while ago. They get the entire arcane list, which can cause issues.
That I don't know how I feel about. Really, I don't.
Yeah.
Well, it has limitations to it.
No,
Shoot.
the groups, or not groups, but anything that can use arcane casting can take from the entire arcane list.
So it does have a very limited limitation. You can only pick divination, enchantment, illusion, transmutation. So no evocation like fireball. Can't take that. Okay, cool. Can't take necromancy, which okay, cool. That doesn't really fit a bard anyway.
But it can. It can for certain
Right.
builds, especially since right now they have not whispers. The spirits bard. Does that mean the spirits bard's going away, or they have announced, or they did say that certain subclasses will unlock certain things? But that would be weird if that subclass only unlocked necromancy spells from the arcane list.
Well, I remember hearing, God, I can't remember where I heard it. I think it was like a TikTok or something that I haven't been able to look too closely at it, but I've heard that they've also rearranged a few of the spells, put them into different categories. I'd have to double check that. But so we might see some rearranging of the spells as well.
Well, we'll get to that later in the document.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, considering I'm fresh off the heels of playing a admittedly homebrew but still very fun bard that was very largely evocation. that stings a little bit.
Yeah. Song of Rest is Songs of Restoration, which that's one of those things that I get the spells on the list and you always have them prepared. However, I like Song of Rest. It was useful when you needed it, and I don't think it broke anything, technically speaking. But yeah, having healing or just having lesser restoration, mass healing, or freedom of movement's kind of a weird one to be on there, for me at least. And then greater restoration. All of those are useful if you need them, but how often do you actually need them?
I think freedom of movement goes back to some of the older things, and my mind's going to Dragon Age, because the bards, the assassins or whatever in those games had the abilities to play songs to like boost your movement speed. And other older games, I think Ultima Online had things like that, where the bard could increase the party's movement speed or free them from crowd control effects. I think that's what that's harkening back to.
I mean, I can see it. But like I said, it's kind of a weird, like, throw it in there thing for me, of you just always have it. Having access to it, I can fully understand. But always having it, I'll take it. Freedom of Movement's a great spell. Not saying it's not. But it's kind of a weird placement for me, personally. I don't.
I mean, it definitely sticks out. It's healing, 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 movement, healing. So.
Yeah. I'll support them, which is the main thing. And I mean, I hate using, like, quote unquote, like the MMO terminology for this stuff, but that's what everybody understands. Because, yeah, that's just the day and age that we're in. But, like I said, I'll support stuff. So I get it. Like I said, Freedom of Movement's a great spell to have. I think there's other things that could have been better in its place, though.
I don't know how I feel about the bard class as the base part of it being seemingly regulated to strictly healing. Because, as you said, it's healing, 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 crowd control, freedom, healing.
I think it's an attempt to expand the healing role beyond the cleric, because right now, in terms of healing and support, and like, I know this because I played a million healing and support characters by now, it's cleric and then a couple of the druid subclasses. I know wildfire, stars, and dreams, I believe, are the big three healing ones that are better at healing than the others. And I think this is an attempt to kind of expand the healing beyond that core cleric focus.
But this doesn't seem like expanding. This seems like forcing you into that role. Because it doesn't look like the bard's much about being the jack of all trades anymore. It looks like it's about you can heal, and then sometimes you can do other things.
Yeah. Which, speaking of jack of all trades, they do still have that, which is good. But
yeah,
spell-wise, I think they're trying to mitigate it to this specifically. Yeah. And I play bards that way mostly because I don't like to play clerics unless if I really need to play a cleric. So I think you still have enough versatility to make them viable. I just don't know if they're going to be as good.
See, I don't know if you'll be able to do that because the magic schools they can pick from in the base is divination, enchantment, illusion, and transmutation. There's nothing in there that gives you damaging spells, or very little. Obviously, we'll see the lists once we get farther down, but the prepared spells that you get, Color Spray, Disguise Self, Prestidigitation, and Vicious Mockery. That's basically no attacking stuff.
Yeah, except for Vicious Mockery, and that's a cantrip.
Yeah.
Good
it's
cantrip.
It's a D4 cantrip at that, so...
No, it is good, but it's not... What are you going to do?
It's not Thunderwave.
I'm a little bit worried because just looking at this one by itself, I don't want D&D to become... You have to have someone just healing. You have to have someone just DPSing. You have to have someone just tanking. I don't want it to become that.
Yeah.
Now, yes, I think healing... I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you. I think healing should be a bit more viable because as it is right now, it's less good to do any healing than it is to just bring someone up when they get down.
And maybe that's where subclasses will step in. I mean, we only have the one to go off of right now. And we also don't know what they're going to be doing with the what did they call the other ones, the priests? Yeah, the priests. We don't know what they're doing with the priests yet, so I'm a little bit nervous. I'm also a little bit nervous about the way they're taking things, but it's so hard to tell without the bigger picture.
For sure.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that I will say, though, is you still get magical secrets as a bard. And you can pick from any list. But that's an 11th level thing. Like, wait until 11th level to get a damaging spell? No. I mean, you do get Shatter, which is good. But it still has its limitations. And I mean, you get haste, which is great. Everybody loves haste. But looking at the list, there's really not a whole lot of extra stuff that you get.
We'll get to the spell list later because we're still on like levels 8 through 20, or at least that's where I have the page set to.
Yeah, I was reading that a little bit. I apologize.
Yeah, I've been having a difficult time finding where you are. So we can... either go through all of them, further magical secrets. Again, you pick from the different lists, which you might be able to get another damaging spell then. But let's talk about their capstone ability, Superior Bardic Inspiration, and see where it stacks up to what it is now. When you roll initiative, you're gain 2 expended uses of your Bardic Inspiration, which I'm pretty sure that's what it is now, isn't it?
I am actually going to look it up specifically.
Let me take a peek.
If it's not that, it's very similar to that, and it's not great.
Manage.
We have
Superior Inspiration. When you roll initiative and have no uses of Bardic Inspiration left, you regain 1 use.
Okay, so this is a lot better, but it's still...
It's still inspiration.
Yeah, the problem is that inspiration seems to come so easily right now.
Exactly, yeah, I was agreeing with you, yeah.
And not necessarily bardic inspiration, but just general inspiration seems to come from everywhere. Or at least that's what it looked like in the first playtest drop.
Yeah, which we had our talks about that privately. Some good, some bad, some other. But yeah, no, I definitely say that getting your bardic inspiration back is very useful, especially at that level because it's a D12.
Yes.
Which is huge. Which, again, at that level, you're probably going to need it.
It will be interesting to see what you can use the inspiration dice on, because if they redo a lot of the bard subclasses, I wonder if they'll give more ways to use it.
Actually, they have touched it just a little bit. You still get to boost the D20 test. Roll. Skill, save, whatever. It's actually at the top. And then you have heal that you can use your reaction when somebody else takes damage. You can roll that bardic inspiration dice and they heal for that much.
Oh, that's nice. That's up at the top. We missed that then.
Yeah. That's my bad. I saw bardic inspiration. I was like, oh, I know exactly what this is. I went back and decided to look at it. However, you only get the amount of die equal to your proficiency bonus. So, maximum 6. Which is still a lot. But
yeah, that heal is nice.
Yeah. But again, they're pushing them into the healer role.
Right.
Which, having more options to heal as a viable option is nice. But shouldn't be enforced.
Yes. Having it as the option is great. So we'll see what happens with subclasses once we get farther into here, but also farther into the playtest.
Yeah. Alright. Still get all your feats at the same levels, it looks like. Unless I'm seeing something wrong.
No, it looked like the feats were kept at the increments of 4 levels plus the extra bonus levels during level up.
Okay. So that's staying the same. Pretty much everything's staying relatively the same from what I'm reading. Just with what is changing is drastically changing to be better. In some instances. Other instances, not so much. So, I don't know. And then the epic boon at 20 level. 20th level.
So, do one of you want to pull up the College of Lore Bard so we can see a little bit of what some of the changes are?
Yeah, sure.
I will have this set up to do next time we do one of these where I can go between both, but I did not this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Bard. Come on, my internet. College of Lore.
So on the playtest, the level 3, after you pick your subclass, the first thing you get is 3 skill proficiencies and 1 in each of Arcana, History, and Nature. If you already have one, you can choose a different skill and gain proficiency. What is the current one? I don't remember.
It's bonus proficiencies. You gain proficiency with 3 skills of your choice, and it gives you the full list.
Okay, so it's giving you specific ones unless you already took them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which Cesar, you probably took one of them, maybe 2, depending on your background.
I don't see it being a problem. It's a decent suggested list if you are new to the game. And they put in a thing where if you already have it, you're not screwed over.
Yeah, which I like that they did that for this edition. I know 3.5 had some issues with it here and there. But yeah, no, for 5e, I like that if you have it, then you pick something else normally. So that's just me. Cutting words seems like it's pretty much the same. When a creature you can see within 60 feet succeeds on an ability check or attack roll, you can use your reaction to roll Bardic Inspiration, subtracting that amount off of the roll.
Oh, is it only attack or ability check?
Yes.
Okay, see, in the original, it also includes a damage roll, so that's the big difference there.
Okay. And then cutting inspiration. Through your studies, you're cutting. Yeah, through your studies, you're cutting. You learn to inspire others exceptionally well. When a creature rolls your bardic inspiration die, that creature can roll the die twice and use the higher of the 2 rolls.
That's very cool.
Yeah, inspiration on your bardic inspiration dice.
You mean advantage on the Bardic Inspiration?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that's a really cool
to
feature, and I think that's a really powerful 6th level ability, actually.
Yes.
Because I think that will also count towards the heals that you can do with them.
I would want to say yes, but I'm not 100% sure. Because it says when any creature, so that would include you.
Right.
However, they might come back later and say, no, you can't use it.
Yeah, that part would need some clarification, but as written, it seems like it works on the heal, too, which would be fantastic.
Yeah, because 1 versus 12. Big difference.
Or even 1 versus... what level do you get at 6th? D8 or a D10?
Yeah, it'd be an 8, I'm pretty sure.
Like, even the difference of a 2 and an 8 is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So they completely and totally did away with counter charm then.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Because I wasn't seeing it either. And that's the 6th level thing for Lore Bard right now.
Do they get Cunning Inspiration now? Or something
Nope.
similar to it? Okay, so it just completely...
Font of Inspiration. It's a font of inspiration at 5th level. Beginning when you reach 5th level, you regain all of your expended uses of bardic inspiration when you finished a short or long rest.
So it looks like they got rid of 5th level stuff and put it to 6th level for subclasses.
Very, very real possibility of that. They also added a 10th level subclass.
I'm sorry, a 10th level what?
Subclass feature?
Okay.
Yeah, we get improved cutting words. Whenever you use cutting words feature on a creature, you can deal psychic damage to that creature equal to the number rolled on the bardic inspiration dice plus your charisma modifier. That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
That makes up for mitigating to healing.
Absolutely,
Partial.
it does. It sucks that it's so far out, but that's a pretty potent ability.
Yes. Now, granted, this is also only one subclass, so what do other ones potentially get? And then level 14 is your peerless skill. When you make an ability check and fail, you can expend one use of bardic inspiration, roll a die, and add the number to the ability check. So that specifically is for you. And only you.
It also changed it so that you can do it after the failure is called. As Peerless Skill stands right now, you have to do it before the DM tells you whether it failed or succeeded.
As it stands right now, is it expended or not? Because this one, it's not expended.
You can expend one use of Bardic Inspiration. You can choose to do so after you roll the die for the ability check, but before the DM tells you whether you succeed or fail. It looks like you just expend it.
The
Okay.
fact that
For
it's
this
not
one,
expended is amazing.
yes. If you fail. If you succeed, it's still expended.
Right.
But that's how it probably should be. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
So 10th and 14th, I like those personally. 6th, really, really good. Which theoretically, 6th and 14th would stack.
Yes. Yes, they would.
So that's actually really good.
I think as it's rewritten, the College of Lore Bard seems to be a fantastic, I don't want to call it all-rounder, but I'm blanking on the word to use, because it's definitely not an all-rounder. But they do get some really good abilities.
Utilitarian of sorts.
Yeah,
That's not quite the right word either, but
it's better than all-rounder.
yeah, it's better than Jack of all trades too, because they're not quite that.
No. And again, this is only one subclass, so I'm pretty happy with what we've gotten change-wise on this one.
Yeah. So, you ready to move on to somebody's favorite?
Did we want to talk about the 20th level feat thingamading?
They actually have boons listed at the end, I think.
They have them lumped in with the feats, yeah.
Yeah, we can go over them with the feats.
Okay. Okay.
It looks like to me, and I'm definitely not the ranger expert, but it looks like proficiencies don't change. Hit dice doesn't change. Nothing really changes setup wise before you get into levels. So that's probably a good thing. However, first thing listed on the table, if you can see that, is expertise, which Rangers have not gotten thus far.
I believe.
I think the expertise will go a long way in making them a very good class to play. And you won't need to do that rogue dip to get those better rolls.
Yeah, because I know I like playing Rangers because, for better or for worse, certain subclasses are really, 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 really good. Certain are you should just throw them in the trash. The ones that everybody plays, your Hunter, your Gloomstalker, it's pretty much it. To be honest here.
Everybody plays them for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're so much better.
Let's talk about one other big change that we see right off the bat. Spellcasting at level 1.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
You don't have to wait until level, 3? 2? 3?
3.
3.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get it when you pick your subclass.
Yeah, which, again, I'm reading a little bit ahead, but there's something with that is a huge deal. But yeah, no,
Well,
spellcasting
since you're
at
reading
1,
ahead, we can scroll past.
yeah, and cantrips.
Yes, cantrips
not
is a
glaze over
huge
the cantrip.
thing because they did not have cantrips.
Oh.
Which,
Yeah.
brief segue, I wonder if that means paladins are getting some cantrips too.
I hope so.
That would be great. Anyway.
Uh,
Back to Ranger.
yeah. Anyway, yeah, like you said, back to Ranger. Starting equipment, because they are still proficient with simple and martial weapons, light armor, medium armor, and shields. Starting equipment, it's pretty standard stuff. Like I said, expertise. Huge that they get that. And you get 2 skills, not just 1. So they're keeping up with, which is good. And then that first level favorite enemy right now is about freaking useless, if we're being honest.
You think it's useless?
It can be.
I
Favorite foe is different.
like the change to favorite enemy. I think it's a very good change.
Yeah, this one is a fantastic change.
Buttons, would you
Current-
like to read it out for us?
The old one or the new one?
The new, and then we can compare.
Okay. First level favorite enemy. You are adept at focusing your ire on a single foe. You always have the Hunter's Mark spell prepared. Yeah, buddy. And it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare. Yeah. I love that spell so much. Moreover, you don't have to concentrate on the spell once you cast it. It lasts for its full duration until you end it as a bonus action or until you are incapacitated. Is it Christmas? I am so happy.
I think the you don't have to concentrate on it makes it the single best change that they could probably have made.
Well, see, that helps so much because when I would build my my rangers, the way I would do it is I would take Warcaster as early as possible to help keep the Hunter's Mark going, and so now that frees up a feat slot.
But not even, I mean, there's that, but there's also almost all of the hunter spells, or at least the ones worth taking, were all concentration.
Yes.
And the updated one where you could do your, what was it, favored foe, was concentration.
Mm-hmm.
And you
Yeah.
could only use it a certain amount of times a day. I hated that. It was horrible and it was useless. I know a lot of people were really happy with the revised Ranger, but I thought that change was absolutely useless because, one, you could only use it a couple of times a day if you were lucky at that, and you still had to concentrate on it.
Yeah.
Now, this still takes your spell slots, I think, but I'll take that.
Yeah, exactly. I'll 100% take still having to use the spell slot for, because you have to now. It's just not having to concentrate, so you can go.
You can also use something like Zephyr Strike.
Yes. Or pass without trace. Or any number of other things.
Yes. So, shall we get into level 1 spellcasting?
Take it away.
You have the following spells prepared: Cure Wounds, Guidance, Hunter's Mark, and
That's a
Thorn
pretty good
Whip.
segue.
Alternatively, you can prepare 2 0-level spells and 2 1st-level spells of your choice. That is a huge thing. So you can either take their prepared list, which is something they're doing. They're giving recommended spells and spell lists, and then still letting you pick what you want. Again, another fantastic way to bring new people into the game, or trying out a new class, or you just want to roll up a quick character and don't want to think. Or if it's a, hey guys, I have a couple hours, you want to do up a one shot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see guidance on this list, finally. I think Rangers could do a lot. Lord knows my rolls need them.
And another really cool thing is that during long rests, you can replace your spells. Which I don't think Rangers could.
No, they were set.
Yeah, so that the fact that you can change them is so cool. And it doesn't specify that it had to be a leveled spell, meaning you can change your cantrips too.
That's interesting. I wonder if they'll apply that across the board, that you can start changing cantrips now.
Yeah. I'll be right back. Hold on just a second.
Okay.
Keep conversating.
Okay, so I guess you cannot choose the evocation ones, but that still makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see.
So
it's still wisdom. Could they use a druidic focus before?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that was part of the optional features.
Gotcha. So it's no longer optional, it's just you can.
Mhm.
So you can still pick a fighting style at level 2. It looks like they took down the number of choices, though, because it's just archery, defense, and 2-weapon fighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bummer, because...
Yeah. It's... However, they did say when you gain a feat at later levels, you can take fighting style feats, even though you're not part of the warrior group.
That's huge. So that will be really interesting to see what you can do with that.
I wonder if that's how they're going to implement, because they had an option called Druidic Warrior, where you could take like a druid, you could learn 2 druid cantrips.
Yeah.
Which I guess it makes sense that they're eliminating that now that they're kind of merging all the spell lists. But, I mean, I kind of like my blind fighting.
I do like blind fighting, and I hope they keep it, because I'm definitely using that on Esther right now.
I mean, I know you can take it with the fighting initiate feat, but I mean, that's a feat slot put towards blind fighting, which could have been an innate option.
And we don't know if that's going to continue to be an option either. We will see things like that probably during the warrior drop.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're gonna. I know this is getting a little bit off topic, but I wonder if they're gonna start implementing more senses into.
I think buttons froze.
I think so.
So they get we'll go down the thing real fast. So you pick your subclass at level 3 still, level 4 feet, level 5 you still get your extra attack. Level 7 you get roving, which is interesting. I don't think you get that right now. I don't know what that is. But it's interesting that they get a level 7th thing, because I don't think Bard did.
No.
So it doesn't look like every class is getting something exactly the same every single, all the way through. Which is really interesting.
Roving was an optional feature under the Deft Explorer option. It was your automatic replacement for the level 6 stuff.
Does it do the same thing? Because this one increases your speed by 10 feet when not in heavy armor. You also get climb speed and swim speed equal to your speed, which is really cool.
Yeah.
The original was the walking speed increases by 5, but no caveat about armor. But then it also gave you the climbing and swimming speed equal to walking speed.
So this one
it changed a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah, it upped you by 5 as long as you're not in heavy armor. But let's be real, though. How many rangers are going to be in heavy armor?
Oh, no, there's no stipulation about armor.
I meant now. Now, but like in the playtest.
In the UA, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the 9th...
I know that.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
Okay, I was moving down to the 9th level. You get another thing of expertise for 2 skills, which is very cool. And then 11th level is what I'm very excited to see. Tireless. Primal forces now help fuel your journeys, granting you the following benefits. Temporary hit points when you finish a short rest or long rest. And real fast, this is one of the first mentions of short rests that we have seen in either playtest. You can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your proficiency bonus. Or you can decrease exhaustion, which you can, during a short rest, you can decrease your level of exhaustion by 1, which, if anyone has seen some of our games, it is a huge thing in our games to have exhaustion, because it happens often.
Right. Mainly because, oh crap, I need to get out of here.
Right.
Or, oh crap, big magic moment. That is needed.
It's a really cool homebrew rule thing that we have, but it makes exhaustion something we actually have to track way more than most games do.
Yes. Because, admittedly, I thought that it was an underutilized thing. So I was like, I will allow you to take it if you want to, but this is the drawback.
It is, and it's scary once you get up there, because we have to worry, like, if we start hitting level 4 and 5, like, that's a problem.
Yeah, which, in this UA, we'll get to exhaustion later, but it works different.
Yeah, that's why it's underlined in the thing right here. Everything underlined is something that has had big changes to it.
Yes. Level 12, get your feet again. Nature's Veil is a little bit different. You invoke spirits of nature to magically hide yourself from view as a bonus action. You can expend a spell slot and become invisible until the end of your next turn. Similar to Hide in Plain Sight, not the same thing.
So it looks like they've taken the optional features and made them the standard features, because Nature's Veil is the 10th level all optional. But instead of using spell slots, it says you can do it a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus.
I think that would have been better to keep. Just because there seems to be a lot of things you can do with your spell slots, and rangers don't get that many. And I didn't see anything where you get them back on short rests. Or long rest. Or, well, of course, long rest, but not a short rest. So I think that would have been better off being kept as proficiency bonus.
Yeah, it's when you finish a long rest, you get them back. So proficiency bonus probably would be the better option there. However, I'm good with the bad. Again, I get it because invisibility is huge, unless if you're going against something with true seeing or blind sight.
But the caveat there is until the end of your next turn.
Yeah,
So it's not like you can even like do a ton with it. Like yes, you can run, yes, you can get into a hidden position or anything, but you can't sneak through a house. You can't sneak through a cave. You can't sneak up on people that easily.
yeah.
That's why
Which
I
is
think
where,
it should be proficiency bonus.
yeah. 14th level, another subclass feature. 15th level is kind of neat. Feral senses, you get blind sight out to 30 feet. We like blind sight in our games.
We do like blind sight in our games. I would like to see for such a high level ability, I would like to see that where they typically do with dark vision, where if you already have it, it doubles.
Or has some sort of additive property.
Yeah, I definitely think
Yeah.
that would make it a much better feat, or not feat, but like cap ability, because that's a fantastic one, but it doesn't fit a 15th level one in my opinion. That would be
Yeah.
more like a 6th or 7th level.
Yeah. It would be better lower, but I think they're trying to. I think I know what they're trying to do, but Rangers I think are always going to be your weird like we don't know what to do with them, so we're going to try to make them powerful when we can.
Well, yeah,
And it'll be a very up and down thing.
but there isn't really a whole lot of ways to get blindsight except for blind fight or something, which is only 10 feet. To where that's why I think like if you have it, it should either like add it to it or double the highest one or something. Or if you head to 10 feet and then you get this at 15, maybe it goes out to 60 feet because it doubles the higher option.
Even if it went out to 40 or 50 feet.
Which would just add them together at that point, which
Yeah.
If you had already had a 30-foot one, it's not any different than doubling it.
Yeah.
But it puts you at 40 if you already had the blind fight.
Right. 16, you get your feet again. Foe Slayer, upping your Hunter's Mark damage. I think there's better things that they could have done. However, I like the idea.
Hunter's Mark, in my opinion, should work like the Bardic Inspiration dice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
To keep it viable and something you want to use long term.
Yeah, which I think most people use it regardless because it really is one of the better ranger spells. However, going from a D6 to a D10,
it's not that great.
It's not that great, yeah.
Let's make it a D12.
Yeah. Let's make it D12. Let's make it 2D6.
Yes.
One of those two. Let's add something. If you get a critical hit, let's make Hunter's Mark do extra things on top of the increased damage. Could have done more. I think they're trying to figure out where the balance is still, which has always been an issue with Rangers. So, again, 19th level, you get a feat, then your Epic Boon. They've got a couple that are recommended. Don't know if they're any good, because we haven't got there yet. Ranger was actually fairly straightforward.
We have to hit the hunter part of it now, which is
Yep.
interesting. So I think these are the recommended spells.
Yes.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like you get a ton of spell choices. But we'll see the spell list towards the end. So let's see. Third level, Hunter's Prey. Your tenacity can wear down even the most resilient foes. When you hit a creature with your weapon or unarmed strike as part of the attack action on your turn, the weapon or unarmed strike deals 1d8, an extra 1d8 damage to your target if it's missing any of its hit points. You can deal this extra damage only once per turn. Let's talk about that one real fast. Unarmed strike.
So that is basically Colossus Slayer.
Yes. But you can now multi-class Monk and Hunter.
Yes, which is kind of cool.
They should have done that anyway because they both are built on Dex and Wisdom.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be really interesting to see how it can play with Monk later on. Buttons, do you want to do the next one? Or what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say I will kind of miss Horde Breaker as an option. Not gonna lie, that's kind of handy.
Yeah, Horde Breaker is my favorite.
Colossus is a pretty solid option. So.
So the 6th level one, Hunter's Lore. You can call on the forces of nature to reveal certain strengths and weaknesses of your prey. While a creature is marked by Hunter's Mark, you know whether the creature has any immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities. And if the creature has any, you know what they are. That's good. I don't know how good it is for a 6th level subclass ability.
We will find out because that is a brand new thing.
Yeah, but and yes, it's a critical role thing, but the Cobalt Soul Monk can do basically that plus extra, I think.
Right.
And I don't remember what level they get that, but it was low level.
Yeah, I think it was like 3.
Yeah. That's why I don't know how I feel about that being a 6th level thing.
Well, let's see, the Ranger, the Inquisitive, I believe it's the Inquisitive Ranger, or Inquisitive Ranger. Inquisitive Rogue has something similar where you can discern strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, you have to focus on them or something like that.
Yeah.
What, it takes your action or a minute or something like that?
Yeah.
An action.
I think it's an action.
Okay. And it basically eats a concentration slot. It does the same thing, and again, it's at level 3. So why is this now a level 6 ability? They could have put something like Horde Breaker or a remade Horde Breaker there, in my opinion.
Right. Now, multi-attack's a little... It's interesting. Just for the simple fact of Conjure Barrage, haven't used it very often.
I've never used it.
I don't think I have
being
either.
Being able to downcast it, though, to 1st and 2nd level, that's kind of neat.
Yes, the downcasting element to this is something I'm very, very interested to see comes into play later. Because it's so fascinating to, in my opinion, to be able to get such a high-level spell and then cast it in the lower slots, because what are you going to use some of those lower slots for?
I always use those for Hunter's Mark personally, because I mean, if you upcast Hunter's Mark, all it does is add to the duration.
Right. I'm not talking about just Rangers on this one. I'm talking about any of the spellcasters. Mainly Wizard, because I love it. But downcasting is such a fascinating thing that they could play into.
Yeah, and I feel like that is a kind of untapped thing that they probably haven't even thought about before until now. Specifically with this one, I don't know how useful it'll be. Probably won't be useful. But the fact that it's there
Yes.
opens up stuff for other things. Superior Hunter's Defense, when you are hit by an attack roll, you can use your reaction and half the attack's damage, which is what a rogue
Uncanny
gets.
dodge.
Yeah. And that's a 5th level?
Yeah, 5th level, I think. It's odd that this is 14th. But the other part of that is you can redirect the other half of the damage to one creature that you can see within 5 feet of yourself.
Yeah, so
See, that part's
theoretically,
new.
so theoretically, if somebody hits you with a melee attack, you can redirect it at them.
Which just screams monk to me.
Yeah, again, which would be a great multi-class if you went there with this. If it works out, if they didn't change monk too crazy much.
Yes. Now, I could see this ability taking place of the 6th level one.
Yes.
Because the 5 feet thing is really limiting. It's fantastic. It's a really cool ability, but the 5 feet is very limiting. Especially because a lot of people play rangers as ranged.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have people next to you.
So the probability of being able to use it is very low. However, when you get able to use it, it's extremely useful.
Yes.
For the 5 foot ability. It says you can, you don't have to.
Right, for sure. But again, that it is a high hit or miss there, but I don't see it being that high of a level.
Yeah. 6th level, great. 14th level, no.
Yeah.
And then you could take... Let's see what they got now. They have Superior Hunter's Defense. They have Evasion, Stand Against the Tide, and Uncanny Dodge. Which, okay, cool. They took Uncanny Dodge from what they have now at 15th level. But if I'm making it 15th level as a ranger, I'm probably going to take Evasion.
Right.
That's just me.
Kitty kitty.
Yeah, he's fluff butt.
We ready to move on from ranger?
I am, personally.
Let's keep going.
Down to rogue. So it looks like the
Alright.
sneak attack dice stay the same. I don't see too many changes on the class features. Obviously, there's the new ones, but overall, it doesn't look like much has changed.
Yeah. Looks like Subtle Strikes might be about the only thing that's really changed, or, well, has been added. I'm sure verbiage has changed. But
Right. I mean, there are new things, but doesn't look like anything's crazily changed from the
Right.
base stuff.
Now, something specific that they added in here. Proficiencies. Specifically, weapon proficiencies. Martial weapons that have the finesse property.
Which will be interesting, which I'm assuming is going to be something like the rapier or a scimitar.
Yeah, I would assume. Since we've pretty much already figured out that short swords will probably be a simple weapon.
Yeah, I don't know where Rooster was talking about that. I'm sure we'll see it later.
Yeah. We'll get to it. But let's see here. Expertise is still expertise. Sneak attack. Advantage, ally adjacent to the target. That still looks like it's the same, unless I'm wrong.
For which one?
Expertise and sneak attack look like they're pretty much the same.
Yeah, they seem the same to me.
Thieves can't.
Yeah, the
Doesn't.
early stuff looks the same, but why change what isn't broke?
Yeah,
Early Rogue
rogues
is fantastic.
I would even say later Rogue is fantastic. It's just past a certain level isn't. It can still be great, but
Rogue as a base class in and of itself is so good. That's part of its problem right now, is that its subclasses are either super hit or miss because they either don't add practically anything or they make it way more fun because it's already such a good class.
yeah. Uncanny dodge. Same thing. Reaction to half damage. You get another expertise at 10th or 7th level instead of 10th, which I think is when Rogue gets it.
Now, I don't know if the current evasion has the thing at the end where on here it says you can't use this feature if you're incapacitated.
I'm pretty sure it does, but I'm not 100% sure.
Which feature?
Evasion.
Evasion.
It
Says nothing about being incapacitated.
So
Nope,
that's a new
nope, it doesn't.
thing. Probably because a lot of people were like, oh, well, my rogue's thrown on the ground or basically dead. Like, I'm going to roll out of the way.
Yeah, which doesn't make any sense. Rules as interpreted there would be way better.
Correct. But they added it in as rules as written now.
Yeah, because I'm sure there was a whole lot of fights.
Yeah, I remember seeing some things on that on Reddit.
Yeah. Reliable talent still there. Looks like that's mostly unchanged.
Reliable talent.
It does say with one of your skill or tool proficiencies. It doesn't just specify a single one anymore.
Right. And it adds in tools, not just ability.
So that's basically anything you want. You can't roll lower than a 9.
Right.
That's insane. And that's their 11th level ability. Holy crap.
Yeah, that one could have probably, if they keep it written like that, they could probably raise that a little bit. But,
yeah.
Okay. Another feat, which they still have the feat at 10th level, so. Then Subtle Strikes. When you attack, you know how to exploit a target's distraction. You have advantage on an attack roll that targets a creature that is within 5 feet of at least one of your allies. So pretty much any melee rogue, if played correctly, will always have advantage.
But isn't that how it works already?
That's something new.
Yeah, that is definitely new.
Oh, okay, advantage. So right now you can still get sneak attack even if you don't have advantage. This gives you advantage. I see the difference.
Yes, without using bonus action hide.
Yes. Which
so
is
you
really
can bonus
cool.
action disengage every round.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Yes.
That makes a lot of hit and run builds to be way more useful and available.
Without the use of mobile.
Yes.
Which, decent feat, underutilized. Anyway. So Subtle Strikes, I like it. It probably is going to be really, really powerful.
And again, at 13th level, like, that is such a low level to give something that powerful.
Yeah.
The power difference that we have just seen between Rogue and Hunter, or Ranger, is huge.
Yes. Again, 14th level subclass feature. Slippery Mind, you get proficiency in wisdom and charisma saving throws.
Which you
Oh,
start
they
with
added
Dex and
charisma.
Intelligence, so that's really good still too. Good for a 15th level. I mean, could also replace the 11th. I could see the 11th and 15th swapping.
Well,
Yeah.
see, the original Slippery Mind only covered Wisdom saving throws. They added the Charisma saving throws to it.
Even with the charisma added, I could see that being a very good 11th level, and then giving a reliable talent at 15.
Yeah. And let's be honest here, charisma saves don't come up very often. So giving that probably isn't going to be super detrimental. I know I could have used it yesterday.
Anyone who runs
Um,
against Fae or other charm happy things, it'll be fantastic for.
Yeah, we fought Yuanti. Yeah, I'm about to kill our wizard. It's a story. I'll tell you later.
Please do.
So at 17th level, you get elusive. You are so evasive that your attackers rarely gain the upper hand against you. No attack roll has advantage against you while you aren't incapacitated.
That's nuts, man.
It is good. Again,
So
I could see it maybe swapping with Subtle Strikes.
That's so much better
That-
than Thief's Reflexes, though.
so that is actually the same as your 18th level right now.
Which is
Like
ridiculous.
word for word. Yeah.
I don't know. I still think with how good Subtle Strikes could be, they could flip those too.
Yeah. Because getting advantage is huge. Not giving other people advantage. Big. Not as big.
Yes. And so that brings us to 18, their capstone ability. You have an uncanny knack for succeeding when you need to. If you fail a d20 test, you can turn the roll into a 20. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a short or long rest. Holy crap.
No, I don't like that. I mean,
That's
it's cool.
insane.
All right, I'm going to be right back. Wife just got back, so I got to go help. Continue on, by all means. Like I said, I'll just be right back.
Okay. So we get to Thief. Now, right now, this is like one of the crappiest subclasses they have. So, third level, you get Fast Hands. You have additional options for bonus actions. For the bonus action of your Cunning action, which you can do for the following, you can take the Search action. Sleight of Hand, you can make a Dexterity check to pick a lock or disarm a trap with Thieves' Tools or pick a pocket. I think that's what they have now, if not exactly the same, very, very similar.
It's similar. Right now it's Sleight of Hand check, use Thieves' Tools to disarm a trap or open a lock, and then take the Use an Object action.
Okay. So very similar.
Very similar.
You also get second story work. You have trained to reach especially hard to reach places, granting you the following benefits. You gain a climb speed equal to your speed, and when you take the jump action, you can make a dexterity check instead of a strength check. That's very cool. I don't know how much the jump actions come into play. I honestly haven't seen them come up very much in our games, like at all.
Not yet.
So I mean, it's good. It's a good second, third level ability.
Well, it's definitely the movement, especially, is better than what it is now. It just says climbing no longer costs you extra movement.
Right.
So
it definitely it sounds like it's just different wording, but getting the climb speed basically makes up for both of those being fairly lackluster. Because, let's be honest here, most DMs, if you can justify or explain how you're using dexterity to jump, will typically let you do it. This is just saying, hey, you have to let them do it. So level 6, you get Supreme Sneak, which you have advantage on every stealth check you make as long as you are not wearing medium or heavy armor. Holy shit. Rogue is disgustingly overpowered. That is the 6th level thing. And let's run back real fast. Oh, I did not mean to jump that far down. So let's run back real fast. So 6, you get advantage on every stealth. 7, you got your expertise. 5, you got your uncanny dodge. Like, that's disgusting.
We gonna see a new monk rogue meta?
Dude! How about
That'd be nuts.
Like, this is crazy. 10th level, use magic device, which is a really fun and really cool throwback, because that used to be a thing you have to be able to take to use wands or other things like that if you were not a spellcaster. Mostly used by rogues. So that's a really cool throwback to 3.5, I think. In your treasure hunting, you have learned how to maximize the use of magic items, granting you the following benefits. You can attune up to 4 magic items at once, and whenever you use a magic item property that expends charges, roll a d6. On a 6, you use it without expending the charge. Damn!
They completely and totally reworked it.
Yeah, Thief was horrible before.
But now this...
Like, this is a viable
that helps a lot, especially...
subclass.
Yeah. I mean, use magical device. At level 13, it was... you ignore all race, class, and level requirements for the use of magic items, and that's it.
Like, woohoo, there isn't many of those. Oh, and I missed one. And you can use any spell scroll that bears a cantrip or first level spell. You can also try to use any spell scroll that contains a higher level spell, but you must first succeed in an intelligence check with a DC equal to 10 plus the spell's level. Now, mind you, I forgot what level it was. Reliable talent at 11. You cannot roll under a 9 as long as you have that as your chosen skill.
Technically... let's see here. Wasn't it technically you can't roll lower than a 10? It was treat any roll of 9 or lower as a 10.
Oh, it's a skill or tool. Okay, so it's not checks, and this isn't technically considered a skill. Okay, so that's how they're not screwing that one over.
I was gonna say that was about to get really OP really fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is already really OP really fast because rogues typically have a very high intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
But on a successful check, you cast a spell from the scroll and use your intelligence as the spellcasting ability modifier. Wow. You no longer have to be a spellcaster to use scrolls.
This kind of makes me wonder what they're gonna do for the like core spellcaster classes now.
Yes.
Are they gonna adjust those accordingly now that we've got this?
And then at 14th, because we're not done yet, at 14th, you can now take a second bonus action on your turn as long as it's for cunning action. You can use it a number of times equal to proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses on a long rest. Wow.
So they got rid of blind sense and bumped up the 17th level thing.
That's really good. Like, I would happily play a thief now.
And returns equal to proficiency bonus.
It's cool that they didn't make them an attacking based subclass, but it's still very viable because it's good.
First round. Yeah, see, originally it was you could only do it you can only do it the first round of combat. So, not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. I'm very impressed with that one. We'll get to that. Don't skip ahead too far. Look, I would like to sleep tonight. I have to wake up at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, okay? And it is 10:40.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good. He's back. He's back. So, we have decided to cut this into a part 2 because we are over an hour and a half into this. You're muted.
That's fine by me.
Okay. We did finish up Rogue. So would you like to? I might cut this part out where we were just chatting back and forth about a part.
Yeah.
I
Anyway.
like the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff, by the way.
Yeah, I'm a day early, but fuck it.
Not when this comes out.
This is true. All right, so let's go ahead and take care of that last little Dice Legion thing. So, all right, so we're gonna make part 2. However, before we take care of part 2, we got a couple things that we gotta announce. First things first, we got a message on Instagram. Actually, that's where it came from. Asking if we would want to be ambassadors to their brand. Talked it over with the team. They were all for it. So I would like to officially thank Dice Legion for supplying us with awesome math rocks, because they're awesome. Faye has already gotten hers. So we are going to go ahead and open them up. She got a mystery pack, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm very excited to see what these are. They've been sitting on my desk since this morning, taunting me.
Yes.
They are a pretty blue one. I think it's a little bit different than the blue one I have already.
Oh, very nice.
I like that color.
Yeah, I'll post a picture of that later on our Twitter.
All right, and I will jack it from Twitter and put it on Instagram and send it over to them because they have specifically asked us to do that.
Yeah, we'll get all of that taken care of, but I'm pretty excited. They're really pretty set.
Yes, and they're not actually super expensive.
No, these ones are really, really inexpensive, especially the mystery dice. So I could see that doing that occasionally.
Yeah, which granted, they do have the metal dice that are a little bit more, but you're going to spend more to get metal dice.
Yeah, they had a huge assortment. They had resin, carved, metal. It was all very cool. And the mystery ones came super fast because I only ordered these like a few days ago. And there was... they ended up having to contact me because there was a problem with the order and everything, and they did it within like an hour of me placing the order. It was super fast, they were super nice, and it got taken care of immediately.
Yeah, and when I was kind of going back and forth with them, trying to figure out like exactly how this would work, they were really super nice. I would email them back, and within 5 minutes, they'd email me. So, real responsive. I like them personally, just as like a first impression thing. Like I said, they do have metal dice, which that one, just a plain old metal dice. I got this thing probably close to 10 years ago now. And I spent $50 on it. And I think I got it from Amazon. Or you can get really nice ones that are like actually worth it for $50. I would rather take that. We are working out a thing where we will have a discount code for you guys. Eventually.
Yeah, we
We're not
haven't
quite
gotten
there
that
yet.
one quite yet. I do have another thing coming that I'm really excited for when it comes. I got a little pin I'll put on my mic over here somewhere. Kosia got a couple things. I think she got a dice roller, so we'll be adding that into this as soon as it comes in, I think.
Yep. And I got a big dice set, quote unquote, a DM dice set, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
It did.
Comes with one of the big D100s, D32, D20, D16, 12, 10, 7, 6, 5, and 4. Still no 3, but I'll just use D6 and split it in half. I like odd shaped dice. I used to have a D68, I think. Something that I picked up from a shop up in Connecticut when I lived up there. Anyway, so yeah, we are really excited to start working with them. I know I'm probably going to get more dice. I know I've already gotten my daughter, the one that walked in here a little while ago. Got her some dice that are nice, pretty rainbows. She's real excited about them. We're just waiting on shipping. With the hurricane that just came through, kind of messed things up a little bit.
Mhm.
So since I know me and Buttons are in the southeast, didn't get hit by it, thank goodness. However,
Yet.
yeah, we'll get rain. But we're far enough inland that we're not getting get hit by it. Hopefully, everybody that has gotten hit by it is okay. I know hurricanes don't make everybody okay, unfortunately, but
We send our best and hope everyone's doing okay.
yes. We got anything else?
No, I think that's it for this one. We should probably work on part 2 in a couple days.
Yeah, either like Monday or Wednesday.
I can do that.
Do we want to announce Halloween plans?
I feel like we could probably do that Saturday.
Yeah, we'll hammer it out and then we'll make an announcement Saturday before the game starts, I think. Because I would like to start doing, I guess a little bit of announcement here for that. At the start of the session, before we get into the game, I think we should start doing whatever announcements we have to do.
Yeah, for stuff like this and other games that we're doing and
So we
special
have
one shots.
lots of plans cooking up in the background.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
And if we have any merchandise that we want to plug,
We're working on that. We're working on it.
yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, I'll do some research on Past Rogue, which looks like it goes straight into feats.
Yep, feats is where we're going to be starting part 2.
Cool. Okay, that'll probably make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, I figure that was a good cutting point.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I need to go get some sleep. That means the recording's ending. So have a good night.
You too.
See you guys tomorrow.
Absolutely.